Since the announcement of the Rings of Power TV show, it's certainly promoted a lot of discussion, and 7 episodes in, it's been quite a disappointment so far, but we have one more episode with the finale.
Not another one?
The episode begins with the stranger losing his apple, and then he chases down what he believes to be Nori, but we find out it was actually the really angry person doing a mystique. The worshippers say they're there to serve the stranger and call him by the name of Lord Sauron. With that cues in the title sequence, which I think is actually one of the better parts of the whole series. Keeping with the stranger's storyline, and the 3 witches tell him exactly what he's going to be doing as Lord Sauron, and also tells us what we're going to be seeing Sauron do in season 2 basically. Due to the strength of the stranger's powers, the 3 of them bind him, and then the Harfoots come in and try and rescue him. Sadok gets hit by a throwing knife across the map, and then the stranger tries to protect the Harfoots. But then the really angry person gets really angry and uses her staff to fight back. Nori gives the stranger a pep talk, and then he gets up and starts talking, and the 3 witches start crapping themselves as they realise they've got the wrong person.
You've got me confused with someone else.
And then he reveals that he's not evil, but instead,
I'm good.
He then zaps the 3 witches back into Macbeth, and we see the Harfoots enjoy the sunrise and Sadok pass away. After things settle down, Nori and the stranger, aka the wizard, aka maybe Gandalf, have a conversation. He says he's going to go to Rune like they said he was going to do as Sauron. Nori wants to go with him, and luckily for her, after that near-death experience, her family are all up for it. We get about 10 minutes of goodbyes and off they go into season 2. And just before they go, the wizard does say always follow your nose, so yeah, maybe Gandalf, maybe Gandalf.
That is brand new information!
Elsewhere in Oregon, Galadriel and an injured Halbrand arrive. Galadriel and Elrond have a catch up, and Halbrand goes down to Celebrimbor and tells him exactly what to do.
I do still like to have the supervisor with me, just to make sure I'm doing it right.
After hearing Celebrimbor's idea to create an object which holds the power they have yet to see, the High King Gil-galad is not so keen. Gil-galad believes they no longer have enough time to get everything done, but Elrond pleads with him to get some more, and they get a bit more and they get to work. During earlier conversations, Celebrimbor lets slip of a line which alerts Galadriel that Halbrand might not be who she thinks he is, so she gets an elf to look into it.
I've just learned a terrible truth. I think Chancellor Palpatine is a Sith Lord.
A Sith Lord?
Yes, the one we've been looking for.
How do you know this?
He knows the ways of the Force.
The Mithril refuses the bond of the Lesser Oars, but luckily for those involved, Galadriel says a line about them going too hard, which prompts a eureka moment for Halbrand that they are going too hard and instead they should use less force. And at this point in the episode, I was thinking to myself, why have we wasted so much time in Numenor and all these other scenes which are just really pointless compared to what we have here, where we have a lot of the important scenes, but they're all jammed into one final episode. Following on from this, Galadriel reveals to Halbrand that the results are in and that actually hasn't been a king of the Southlands for 1,000 years. And then we get the big Tom Riddle type reveal as Halbrand says he's gone by many names in the past. But before he reveals his name, he goes into Galadriel's head and we get a scene of her and her brother. And while still being in her head, it goes to the time when they're both on the raft together and Halbrand's there trying to persuade her to rule alongside him. They disagree, and then in the real world, Elrond picks her out from the water. With no time to waste, she goes back to Celebrimbor and tells him instead of making 2 rings, they should make 3. But to do so, she must sacrifice the blade she was given to by her brother. We see the creation of the 3 rings, and then we hop over to Mordor to see Halbrand looking out into the distance, or as he's known now, Sauron. There were also a couple of Numenor scenes scattered in the episode, like for example, Isildur's sisters speaking to the king, and the king's getting her all mistaken with Miriel, and then he goes and shows her something which we don't get to see just yet. And on the subject of not seeing, Miriel and Elendil have a conversation, and as they get into Numenor, they see that all the black flags are up and that the king has died. They do also speak about Isildur, who's out there somewhere chilling ready for season 2. And in terms of characters like Arondir and Bronwyn and the dwarves for example, and the Balrog, they'll all have to wait until season 2 as well. So looking at the positives, I think this episode was a lot better than the last one by quite some distance. And as I mentioned earlier, there were things in this episode which I did enjoy seeing, but with it all being so jam-packed in this finale, the previous 7 episodes just feel so disappointing because it's like we wasted so much bloody time. And this episode epitomizes a lot of the issues the show's had overall. Like for example, 1/6 of the episode was made up of the Harfoot saying goodbye. We had lines like I'm good, which made me laugh and I'm sure made you laugh as well. And the writing in general was just so crap, to be honest. And the thing is, I think a lot of people might be won over by the whole mystery box strategy the creators went for. Like we had the reveal for the stranger and the reveal for Halbrand, so those answers are there, but these answers were pretty easily predictable. Overall, I have seen worse shows than the Rings of Power, but this was a very disappointing season. And I feel like the creators had in their mind that final shot of Halbrand looking out to Mordor, revealed as Sauron, and they're just trying to work their way to get to that point, and how they did that was not very good at all. I think the best characters in the show were the dwarfs with Prince Durin, Deezer and Elrond in that storyline as well. And I think many of the worst characters were based in Numenor because I thought the Numenor storyline was just really badly handled. My favourite episode in the season was episode 6 because although there were some stupid things happening in that episode, I could switch my brain off and just enjoy it. Something else I liked was the music. I thought the music was pretty strong throughout the whole season. And there is some good talent attached to the show, but they were let down, so it'd be interesting to see with season 2 whether those same mistakes are made again or if they do learn from them. Let me know your thoughts on the Rings of Power season 1. Did you enjoy it? Have you even watched it? Let me know down below. And if you're looking for something else to watch on screen now as our review for episode 8 of House of the Dragon.